So related to Supta Baddha Konasana, but slightly different. Similar sort of position, except instead of having the heels as close to your sitting bones as possible, I like to take them much further away, obviously making the shape of a diamond in the legs. And a lot of the modifications for Supta Baddha Konasana, the bound ankle pose, are the same. You can find pillows or bolsters to prop underneath the knees. You can sit up against a wall if you're really struggling to sit up straight. If you find that you're really sort of rounding and hunching, you can use your hands on your ankles to just lift the chest and sit up straight. And then from there, I like to fold forwards, so coming into a forward fold. For some of you it might be that you're just bringing your hands forward and lifting the chest. So just move back a little bit here. Really lifting and bringing the chest through the shoulders if you can. For others, you might find you've got the capacity to fold and round and start to bring the head towards the feet. Wherever you are, just really making sure that the knees aren't taking any strain. And I find that there's a good balance to play with between lifting and keeping a lift, especially if you're really tight, try and keep that lift. And then occasionally I do like to do the softening and rounding and just holding the pose and breathing. Another variation I like to do with this is add in a side stretch. So taking one hand to the ground and another hand up over to the side. What you can do is just find your comfortable kind of side stretch. For some people you might just be around about here. For others you might be able to go all the way down onto your forearm. If you're propped up on too much of a bolster, that's going to be a problem. Otherwise we're looking at leaning over, trying not to kind of collapse and around, trying to keep some length to the left side in my case, or the open side of the body. Trying to keep that sitting bone down, so you're trying to get a length between that sitting bone and these fingertips. I sometimes like to play with softening the arm, and sometimes I get a different kind of stretch there, and then re-engaging a really straight stretch, and maybe looking up at the wrist and thumb. Breathing, and then coming up on an inhale, and if you can, in an exhale, changing for the other side. If you're familiar with it, you might just go straight into the other side onto the forearm, or you might need to play around with whichever height is going to work for you. And again, maybe letting the arm just soften, different kind of stretch, and then a really long and active stretch between the sitting bone and the fingertips. And looking up if you wish to. And of course just remembering to breathe all the time. Nice deep long slow breaths. You can play with this pose in a number of ways. You can always add in a twist. I always like to add in a twist wherever I can. Always remembering when you're twisting to try and maintain some length in the spine, and then using the levers that you have to help deepen the twist, keeping the back of the neck lengthened and the chin tucked in. Diamond pose.